You know what has been a really big topic these past couple years, especially during the time of COVID? Mental health. Mental health is one of the biggest topics because after COVID, suicide rates have gotten up and mental illnesses have also gotten up. And I want to introduce to you 3 books that helped me take care of my mental health. Before we get started, you guys, please subscribe to this channel. I'm really excited to talk about these 3 books because I preach it to everyone I meet, and I can't wait to preach it to you. So let's get started. Let's start with the first one. This book called The Power of Now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle was the first book I've read to actually help with my mental health. And I started reading this probably around between August and September of 2020. And my friend recommended it to me wholeheartedly. And me not even knowing that I actually needed this book in my life. Now, you want to know what the summary of this book is? Of course, The Power of Now. What is now? You know, do it now or start now. No, it's to be present. It's to be in the now, not to think about the past and not to think about the future. So a brief summary of what The Power of Now is. Just a small paragraph. Many of us spend our lives searching for peace, joy, and fulfillment. We look for it in different ways, through accomplishments, relationships, experiences, and material possessions. The Power of Now proposes that the only way to find true peace and fulfillment is through being solely and intensely present in each moment. The more we live in the now, the more we are able to connect with our true selves and experience life fully, without extraneous thoughts and speculations clouding our minds and altering our lens in the world. Isn't that wild? This book actually helped me understand what the present moment is all about. Being present is the most beautiful bliss feeling you will ever experience. And the first time I've ever experienced being in the now, being present, was actually walking with my dog. Believe it or not, animals are very present in this world, and they notice everything, from the details of the sky to the details of the petal of the flower. When I was walking my dog, he was noticing everything around him, and I was like wondering, like, what is it that he sees? You know, what is he seeing? And then he looked at this flower, and I proceeded to look at it with him, and I've never noticed the exquisite detail of a petal of a flower to be so beautiful. And that's when I realized this is what being present is all about. I also want to show you these quotes that Eckhart mentioned in the book. Some of the quotes that he mentioned, one of them is, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus in your life. So one thing he talks about is that a lot of people are very clinged to the past, and that's what gives them anxiety. But you have to realize that the past no longer hurts you. The past is done. You have to be in the now and you have to move forward. And that's what I always remember and strive to live by, because being in the past does not help you become a better person. Learning from it, yes, but living in it, your body and mind is continuously living in the past. Another quote I want to mention is this: time isn't precious at all because it's an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. The more you are focused on time, past, and future, the more you miss the now, the most precious thing there is. This book drove me so crazy because I have to reread pages over and over again. Now, for me, I understand what this paragraph is. I understand what the quote is talking about because I had to read it multiple times to understand. But for a first-time reader, it is going to be a bit difficult because this is a lot to take in. And if you want to better your mental health, you have to take that first step into learning what your mind is all about. Reading this book, I enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm glad that this was my first book I've read and experienced. The next book I want to show you is also by Eckhart Tolle. It's called A New Earth. And A New Earth, Awakening Your Life's Purpose, talks about letting go of your ego. So, in the first book, The Power of Now helps you become and realize what the present moment is all about. But A New Earth talks about letting go of your ego, which is your pride. And to summarize what it is all about, in A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle asserts that human consciousness is trapped in a state of dysfunction because we are controlled by our ego, which drives us to seek fulfillment by owning things and feeling superior to others. This has led them to harm to both our planet and our species because of consumerism, ideological wars, pollution, and more. Tolle argues that we must undergo an evolution of consciousness if humanity and Earth are to survive. A New Earth aims to teach people how to do this, how to elevate their consciousness by becoming aware of their ego-driven thought and behavior patterns, and how to overcome these patterns. It's so deep. I honestly will read this book again. And the funny thing is, I do have the book, The Power of Now, but I lent that to my family member so he can read it. And I'm excited to talk about it with him because I'm literally recommending this book to everybody. This book and The Power of Now. Also, The Power of Now, I also bought it for my other friend as well because it's just so amazing what it did to me. I want everyone to experience the same thing because it's such a powerful book. I also wanted to show you a couple of quotes that was in The New Earth and some great quotes that are from this book. First one, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. Another quote is acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation of all abundance. This book wants you to make yourself feel good. It wants you to understand that you have the power to change your thoughts, to change your pattern and behavior, to become the better person that you strive to be. It's crazy. It's crazy. Another part, which is big and which destroys the ego, this quote right here: give up defining yourself to yourself or to others. You will come to life. And don't be concerned with how others define you. And when they define you, they are limiting themselves, so it's their problem. Whenever you interact with people, don't be there primarily as a function or as a role, but as the field of consciousness, presence. You can only lose something that you have, but you cannot lose something that you are. To briefly summarize what he talked about is that a lot of people identify themselves with an object. Like, for example, this is who I am, and without this, I am nothing, right? I don't want to attach myself to something because if I lose that something, then in theory, I lose myself and who I am. So what he explains is that be who you are, have this as well, but don't let it define you. And it's really complicated. And again, you have to read it multiple times to understand what he is meaning. This book was one of Oprah's book club books, one of the recommended books that she told everyone about. And she had a full podcast about it. She had a full YouTube about it. And I'm sure she had it on her channel as well. There's a YouTube video that she did with Eckhart. Now, there are YouTube videos that are like an hour plus long, but I want to show you this short snippet of Eckhart. Now, I just want to let you know that Eckhart is a very old man. He talks very slow. So be patient. Just listen to what he has to say.
All we need to know is in order to live more consciously, in order not to live in opposition to what is in the present moment, which is to live more consciously, accept this moment as if you had chosen it. And that brings in a new consciousness.
And do not deny the moment. This is what I learned from you, that literally, it eliminated all stress in my life. Resisting the moment that is only going to create more anxiety and more being more upset.
A lot of the unhappiness that people experience, they believe it's due to the conditions of what's happening at this moment.
At this moment. Oof, guys, just, you have to read this book.
But in most cases, it's not the conditions or the situation that you're in that causes the unhappiness. It's the mind telling you something about this moment that causes the unhappiness.
Yes,
So there's
like
a
I should have been
commentary.
there. I should have been
Yes.
earlier. I shouldn't have stopped to do this. I should have done that. It's the mind.
Yes. I sometimes tell people just don't believe what I say, just try it out in your own life. Next time you get upset in a certain situation, let's say you're at the airport, many people get upset at airports. You line up at the counter, it takes a long time, and you get more and more upset, and then you observe that what is it that causes me to be irritated, angry, upset? What is it, this situation? Or is it that my mind is telling me that this should not be happening? The ego is very good at misinterpreting reality, and it believes its stories. The ego comes up with stories, often not pleasant stories about the isness of things, and it's a source of great suffering. So once you recognize that, you can experiment in your own life when you feel upset arising, watch your mind,
Yes.
be there, be aware of what your mind is doing. This is the most vital thing in spiritual life, is to be able to watch your mind, to be the observer of your mind, so that the mind is not controlling you.
And that is how you eliminate stress
Yes,
and suffering.
yes.
Definitely helped me practice so much more of what being present is all about, not being attached to things. And it helped me become more patient. I was a very impatient person until I read The Power of Now and A New Earth. But there's one more book I want to show you. And this book called Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. Now, what is becoming supernatural? Let me tell you. Becoming Supernatural explains how people can achieve their potential by harnessing the power inside themselves. The book outlines principles and practices that help ordinary people improve health, mood, finances, and relationships. Reading this book, you guys, I started journaling every single day because journaling, writing things down, helps you envision what you want your future reality to be, manifesting. I started meditating every day after this book. This book is a science, step by step, of what your brain will experience if you start doing these healthy habits every single day. Let me show you this small video of Joe Dispenza talking about coherence. And he's going to define what coherence is all about regarding your brain, your heartbeat, your mental health, and all of the above.
Okay, what is that? My understanding of heart coherence essentially physically means that your breathing and heart are actually in unison at one point and that you sustain that over a duration of time. Elaborate on that and go for it.
Coherence is rhythm. It's a cadence. And when you're in fear or you're in survival and your heart rate increases and your respiratory rate increases, your brain waves go up into this aroused state, right? And people spend 70% of their life anticipating the worst case scenario that's going to happen in their life and prepare for the worst. Chronic stress does what? Causes us to hold our breath. All right, so we found, in our research and working with the HeartMath Institute and also some of the stuff we've been doing, that if you slow your breathing down, you slow your brain waves down. And if you teach your body to move out of survival, there's only one other thing it wants to do. It wants to create, right? So now just imagine a big drum. And now you're so contracted that you can't hit that drum. And as you learn and teach a person how to convert from that fight or flight nervous system to the nervous system of relaxation, the heart actually starts to bloom. And when you place your attention on your heart, we have the data. I can say this emphatically. That when that heart starts to beat in rhythm, it starts to inform the brain that it's time to create. Like taking a big sheet and going like this, a wave of energy goes right to the brain. The brain goes right into alpha and says, it's safe now to create. Examine other possibilities. You're out of survival, right? So then, as you hit that drum repeatedly, there's a wave of sound that's produced, and the more coherent it is, the more it can carry information, right? Or if you drop a pebble in the water, and you drop another pebble in the water, and you drop another pebble in the water, when your heart is coherent, there's a magnetic field, right?
Regarding the brainwaves, regarding the heartbeat, regarding just being present and what you will experience once you start practicing these habits that you have to build for yourself. And that is what becoming supernatural is all about. You understand the present moment. You understand getting rid of the ego. And to me, this was a third step to even move further of what I want my future goals to be. A lot of people's mental health are affected so much, and a lot of it comes from their past. And it's really hard to let go of the past because sometimes people have done you wrong, something you've seen, something you've experienced. And it's sometimes really hard to have that moment to just feel that you have to let it go and you don't know how to do it. And to me, reading these 3 books helped me personally understand what the present moment is, to let go of my past, to let go of my pride and ego, detaching myself to some things that I thought would define me, and finally creating my own reality that I want to be successful, to be happy, to be loved, to feel bliss. We all want this in life. So I 100% recommend the 3 books, The Power of Now, A New Earth, and Becoming Supernatural. I promise you, if you read these 3 books wholeheartedly, you will feel something within yourself. Of course, it's up to you to practice it. But I'm just recommending it because it helped me mentally, and I hope it could help you mentally as well. Let me know if you read these books before. I'd love to chat about it with you. I love the topic about being present. And if you've made it this far, you guys, thank you so much for watching this. Please subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell and leave a like and a comment because it helps me towards my intended reality, becoming a full-time YouTuber. So if you have any questions for me, let's talk about it. Other than that, I'll see you guys next video. Peace.